Imagine this: a strange object from deep space hurtling through our solar system, and it's not alone. If it were a technological artifact, it wouldn't just drift through space. It might deploy tiny probes, emit signals, or even shine with artificial lights rather than merely reflecting sunlight. For months, amateur astronomers around the world had been tracking 3 Atlas, the third interstellar object discovered after Oumuamua and Borisov. Its behavior was puzzling, changing week by week. But it all began with an amateur astronomer named Leslie Peltier, observing from a hillside in northern Chile. For weeks, Leslie had been following this object through a 40-inch research-grade telescope, equipped with a cryogenically cooled camera and a high-precision tracking system linked to NASA's ephemeris data. At first, nothing seemed unusual, just a fast-moving body from deep space with a vivid green tail glowing from carbon monoxide and nickel emissions, discovered only a week earlier. Then everything changed on September 19th, exactly at 2 a.m. UTC. His screen revealed something that froze him in place. Around the main emerald streak of 3I Atlas, 9 smaller points appeared, faint but distinct, moving in perfect sync with the main body. In his images, they looked like fireflies orbiting a lantern. Leslie posted the frames on several astronomy forums, but at first, most professionals dismissed them as noise or cosmic rays. Yet within the next 48 hours, instruments like the James Webb Space Telescope, Hubble, the Very Large Telescope in Chile, and the Keck Observatory in Hawaii all confirmed the same phenomenon. These are telescopes designed to detect the faintest galaxies at the edge of the universe. They don't make mistakes. What made the discovery truly terrifying was its scale. Spectral reports showed that all 9 objects shared the same speed, trajectory, and the same strange green tail as 3I Atlas, confirming we are not from our solar system. Up until that moment, astronomers, both professional and amateur, had only ever seen one object. Now there were 10. Spectroscopic analysis revealed even more. The 9 companions carried the same metal-rich signature as 3I Atlas, nickel colobert, and high-temperature alloys, and the same unusual carbon monoxide-driven glow. But there was one alarming difference. Although each object was roughly 1/10 the size of 3I Atlas, they were apparently powered by a nuclear core twice as strong. Even the math alone had scientists on edge. 3I Atlas had already baffled them with an estimated 10 gigawatt energy source, inferred from its thermal profile and tail behavior. But this was on a completely different level. But the most baffling detail was the power of those 9 companions. Each one appeared to generate 20 gigawatts, a figure that completely defies the laws of physics. A fusion reaction on that scale inside a body so small would instantly destroy it. Not even our most advanced reactors can reach that energy-to-mass ratio. Our largest power plants weigh thousands of tons and produce only a few gigawatts, and yet these objects, no larger than a city block, were radiating 20 gigawatts each. Enough energy to power entire nations, all contained within a moving fragment from deep space. The idea that something so small could hold that much energy is not just incredible, it's terrifying. When astrophysicists at Caltech and MIT tried to model it, their supercomputers kept crashing. No matter how they adjusted the temperature, pressure, or plasma density, the equations refused to converge. You simply cannot fit the required fuel or a containment field into such a small object without exotic metals or impossible confinement pressures. Achieving this would require technology far beyond anything humanity has ever built. Some theorists suggested an exotic fission-fusion hybrid. Others speculated about antimatter or dark matter catalysts. But all agreed on one thing: this is not conventional chemistry, by any stretch of the imagination. And the question on everyone's mind was, how did this happen so suddenly? For months, 4 of the world's largest telescopes had been tracking 3I Atlas, while spacecraft like NASA's Juno at Jupiter, the Parker Solar Probe near the Sun, and the Bepi-Colombo mission en route to Mercury were all collecting data from space. Alongside them, dozens of amateur astronomers around the globe were following every movement. Yet no one, neither on Earth nor in space, had seen the slightest hint of these 9 companions before they suddenly appeared. According to Loeb's team at Harvard, the 9 objects materialized exactly at 2 a.m. On September 19th, at 2 a.m., something occurred that defies logic. The 9 companions of 3 Atlas appeared in just 1 millisecond. In human terms, it was as if they had blinked into existence. To put that into perspective, a human blink lasts about 300 milliseconds, a camera flash around 5 milliseconds. This was 30,000 times faster than a blink and 100 times faster than a strobe flash. That incredible speed explains why no telescope or spacecraft was able to capture the exact moment of their appearance. The event was simply too fast for any sensor we have. To us, it might seem impossible, but in deep space, these timescales are almost trivial. Gamma-ray bursts can release more energy in a few milliseconds than all the stars in our galaxy combined. Cosmic rays streak through planetary orbits at nearly the speed of light, around 300,000 kilometers per second, fast enough to travel from Earth to the Moon in just 1 second. Even the largest black holes can collide and merge in a millisecond, sending gravitational waves rippling across the cosmos before we can even react. In response to this, Harvard astronomer A. Loeb immediately proposed the mothership hypothesis, a gigantic interstellar craft releasing probes as it approaches its target, in this case, our solar system. In interviews, Loeb made one thing clear: these probes are not random. They appear only after the craft enters the solar system. Their cores are denser and hotter than the main body, suggesting they might be designed to approach planets while the main ship remains farther out. In the worst-case scenario, these could be autonomous drones mapping our system or even retrieving something valuable. Others, like Michio Kaku, offered more natural explanations. He suggested that 3 Atlas could be a comet that collided with a massive interstellar rock. Since Atlas's body is incredibly strong and moving at over 60 kilometers per second, the impact could have fragmented it, producing pieces that retain the original speed and trajectory. In this scenario, the smaller fragments would be ultra-dense chunks, absorbing the kinetic energy of the collision. But Loeb countered that in such a case, the fragments could not function like miniature reactors. No known rock could split into 9 parts, each generating 20 gigawatts, and their green tails would not match so perfectly. Then came the second shock. Another interstellar comet, Swan R2, was approaching from the opposite direction. It was 100 times more massive and brighter than 3I Atlas, with a tail spanning 2.5 degrees in the sky, dwarfing even the largest comets ever recorded. Its perihelion would occur the same week as Atlas this October, essentially creating an interstellar traffic jam around the Sun. What's even more unsettling, trajectory records show that an object on a similar path appears every 2,200 years. Some UFO researchers suggest that Swan R2 might be coming to protect us from 3I Atlas, acting as a sort of cosmic guardian. Others insist the opposite, that both Swan R2 and 3I Atlas are arriving to take something valuable from the Sun, and that their encounter near perihelion is no coincidence. There are those who argue that if Swan were truly hostile, Earth would have already been destroyed during its previous visit 2,200 years ago, when humanity was completely defenseless. Historians point to Chinese imperial records mentioning a heavenly dragon in 200 BC, Babylonian tablets describing a splitting star heralding great catastrophes, and medieval European chronicles around the year 1000 describing a green visitor with a tail like a banner. If this cycle holds, we are now on the brink of seeing it repeat. Despite the mountain of data and growing public interest, NASA and the ESA have remained almost silent, issuing only brief statements about ongoing observations and repeating that there is no evidence of any threat. Yet, as tension mounts worldwide, emergency sessions have already begun inside the Pentagon and the European Space Command. Leaked memos reveal contingency plans ranging from interception to full planetary defense scenarios. Reports indicate that China's National Space Administration has repurposed its heavy-lift Long March 9 program to design a high-velocity interceptor while the European Space Agency is dusting off plans from its defunct Do-Note asteroid deflection mission. The scenario is clear. Something extraordinary and potentially dangerous is approaching, and our entire solar system could be helplessly watching the parade of these interstellar visitors. Even private companies like SpaceX and Blue Origin have been contacted to develop rapid launch platforms for reconnaissance probes. But despite public excitement, official agencies remain cautious. NASA has refused to release raw James Webb spectra, citing data verification, and ESA declined to comment on ongoing planetary defense activities. Even the White House issued a minimal statement. "We are aware of the situation and are monitoring it." This silence fuels paranoia. If the evidence is this strong, why isn't the world preparing? Some insiders whisper about silent mobilizations, spacecraft quietly being retested, defense satellites brought online, radio telescopes placed on maximum alert. Loeb has formally petitioned the UN to convene an emergency session on interstellar object policy. He has gone further, calling for a global task force and even suggesting nuclear readiness, not to attack, but to demonstrate capability. According to him, if these probes exist, they are studying our radio spectrum and will know our defensive posture. We must show that we are not passive. He recommends placing the world's nuclear powers, the US, Russia, China, France, and India, on coordinated alert. Spacecraft from multiple nations could be deployed. China's TN-13, Europe's Hera mission, NASA's upcoming Dragonfly, and even Japan's Hayabusa Next, adapted as high-velocity scouts. But the problem is time. When Oumuamua passed, we had no ready interceptors. With 3 Atlas, we had more notice, but the sudden appearance of 9 additional bodies collapses the timeline. We are not prepared for 20 gigawatts of unknown energy barreling through the inner solar system. October looms. Both interstellar objects will pass near the sun just days apart. Ordinary people will look up before dawn and see green streaks in the sky, feeling both awe and dread. This is not a blurry UFO video. It's recorded in databases, telescopes, and peer-reviewed journals. It's real, it's coming, and no one knows what it means. Questions arise that have no clear answers. Will Swan R2 collide with 3I Atlas? Will the 9 satellites break formation and approach Earth or the Moon? Will governments finally acknowledge the possibility of an extraterrestrial presence? Or will we simply witness 2 spectacular comets near the Sun, while scientists analyze the data for decades to come? The truth is, no one knows. The stakes have never been higher, and the data has never been stranger. This is not science fiction. This is real-time astronomy happening right above our heads. 2 interstellar visitors, one accompanied by 9 mysterious companions, are approaching. Their energy signatures defy physics, their behavior defies expectation, and the window to prepare is closing fast. As Loeb said in his last press conference, the universe has finally knocked on our door. The question is, will we open it, or will we hide? So, what do you think is really happening out there? A collision, a rescue, or something entirely different? Leave your thoughts in the comments below, and that concludes our journey into this interstellar mystery. 2 visitors from deep space, 9 enigmatic companions, and questions that could change the way we see the universe. If this case fascinated you as much as it did us, don't forget to hit like and subscribe to stay updated on every new development. We'll see you in the next video, if the universe allows it.